Sarah Banks. I live in Chicago, Illinois. Graduated from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And I work primarily with 3D softwares like Cinema 4D, Maya, Unity, ZBrush. So yeah, most of my work is digital at this point, but I also do ceramics.
Oh, I didn't know that you do ceramics.
Yeah, I love ceramics.
Is that what you started with?
No, I got into ceramics with 3D because sometimes when you're on the computer for so long, you just need to like smush dirt around and it like fixes your brain. So I took my two senior studios were ceramics and advanced 3D. I really think 3D and ceramics are really similar because both of them are like you know how ceramics has to be hollow. Yeah. So they're like shells of the object that they are. Like that's what 3D is too. It's like 1 pixel deep. And then everything has like an outside material, like a coating. So, and then you have to put it in the oven and wait for it to come back. Like 3D, you have to render it and then the kiln. You have to like wait for the final product, which I think I really like. I came in to do graphic design, but that was mostly to like fulfill my family's goals for me to have this some sort of career path, which is like not, I don't know. It was like, I just said that. And then I never took one graphic design class.
Really? Not even one?
No, I didn't take one.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I came in with painting, but I knew like I wanted to try a lot of different things. So I was all over the place, but it was really constructive for me. So I did like painting, video, ceramics, metalworking and woodworking.
Cool. And you landed on, what was your final major? Do you guys have majors?
I don't have majors. So I was like mostly in the film, video, new media department, which is where like 3D kind of is at the school.
Cool.
So it's about like how we relate to objects and like to take care of them almost like their pets or like our children, and like kind of falling in love with inanimate things and how that's such a prominent part of our culture. Like even if someone doesn't realize it, like the first scene is like a portal made out of jewels. And I was really thinking about how people people panic when they lose it. Like they'd panic like they lost someone they love, that kind of like innate feeling. Yeah. And then it kind of progresses through like a history of loved toys and objects. So a lot of them are like outdated. So it's kind of like taking you through like this alternate reality of like things that have been like really loved and then like really forgotten. So I was really interested in that. And then like with that, like most of these like objects are from like now to like the 90s. So they all have this like really colorful, like fluorescent color scheme, which I feel like it's like vaporwave, which you were trying to find the word for.
Oh yeah.
But like all the aesthetics of like now we have plastic and now we can make a million of one thing and it's like bright and crazy, all these colors that weren't able to be like manufactured before. So yeah, and I'm always interested in like the overload too.
Totally. Mm-hmm. So think like older things that are forgotten, like a consumerist nostalgia in a way.
Yeah, and like just things like, yeah, like it's consumerist nostalgia, but it's also like true love to kids and to like.
No, totally.
Yeah, like, and I think I had a lot of that. So I think because I was an only child for a really long time, so I just found like peace in like taking care of like even digital things like Neopets, where you're just like, this is my thing and I love it and it's real to me. It is real. So
yeah. Totally. How long did you work on that? I know we talked briefly before about your process of rendering and how long that took. So do you want to tell me about like
the process
you had to learn to make it and like the process of making it?
Yeah, I've been doing, this is like my second year doing 3D animation, maybe a little, like 2.5 years. So I felt like pretty confident in the process, but it was like my biggest thing I've taken on because it's a 5-minute long animation, which doesn't feel that crazy, but it's like 10,000 frames and each frame took from 20 minutes to an hour to render. So I would build it and then like monitor, like put it on, go in the middle of the night and put it on 16 computers at the school and like just pray like no one touched it. It was recently at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Boston, which was really cool. I'm trying to think where else right now. Obviously, it's going to be in Currents, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
And then a couple of things that are in. And I just learned it's going to be at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Spain. So I'm really excited.
No way. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Congrats.
Thanks,
When is it gonna debut there?
Hopefully September, but I'm not trying to like be, everything's in flux right now. It was last September and it was really exciting. I had a Unity piece in it and then there was like other real-time piece, some 3D animation and some like cool glitchy video work, and neon. So it was like fun as like installing it all and assembling it, and it was really cool because Currents provided me with a lot of like I was like my skills were satisfactory for this, like I could do it, so I felt confident about it.
What was the theme of the show?
We were mostly trying to like kind of what we were talking about before, which I just didn't mention, but it was like incorporating physical and digital objects. So I had ceramics that went with my work and then like neon, and then we had like a couple other things in the space, like framed 3D prints and stuff like that.
Okay, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And for you as like a media maker to transition into a place of like curating new media works into a show, what was that like seeing people interact with their own new media works?
I really like leading like a gather, like organizing and like watching people like succeed in their little like goals. So it was really fun helping like everyone realize their like how to install their work and like just seeing like the whole process like go well for everyone. I don't know, I really liked it. Like that's why I also really liked Currents, because I like seeing everyone else's things unfold as well.
Yeah, totally. So
like I love solving problems for other people.
You were working on making a VR piece not crash over and over. Like you really like focus in on a task and like you actually don't have to stop until it's just fixed.
Yeah, I was just like, I have to fix this and solve it. And I think that's also something I really like about 3D animation, because you always are trying to like, you have a vision and you have to like solve it within a program. So It was kind of similar, but it was like someone else's vision, but I just knew it was fixable. So it was like 14 hours like with the VR headset on and off, and then talking with the artist. And I think he was in France. So it was like 4 a.m. for him, and he was like team viewing into the computer. And everyone was like, you can take a break. I was like, I'm fine. I'm going to solve this. Like, this is just a puzzle to me.
Is that like an inherent part of your work ethic, or was that something you learned?
I think it's definitely learned just from like, well, I think like, not like I'm the most amazing at it in the world, but just from having to like work and go to school and like finish like big projects, like my brain is just like go until it's solved. Like I couldn't, during school, like I can't sleep till like the thing is solved. This is sidebar, but like growing up, my mom was like Division I beach volleyball player, and I was in like, my mom is so competitive, like in sports mostly, and like, so I was raised to be like super competitive. But I feel like when making like the like that part of my brain and then like making work, like being competitive is like almost like a setback, especially with 3D where you're pulling so much from online resources and everyone's work is like accessible and downloadable and like rippable. Like you just have to like deal with the fact that everything is a mishmash and like people are going to have similar ideas to you or like steal your ideas. Like you have to just think of it as like fun and like a big like pile of like new work.
Totally.
instead. But like if we were playing like volleyball, I would be really competitive.
Good to know. Yeah, good to know.
I think like, I don't know, I try to think that when everyone likes something, it's valuable instead of thinking that it's like a lost cause when too many people like it.
Totally.
Like, yeah, so just looking at something and realizing everyone's really interested in it, that's a hard word, is
Right.
makes it more like profitable for me because it has so much content, I think.
Totally. Yeah.
Like and things are popular for a reason. Like the culture of like disliking popular content is like I feel past it. Not that I can dislike it, but I don't want to, like, that was high school vibes, dislike something because everyone likes it. Now I'm working from home and I'm working for a company in Chicago called Optimist. So I'm doing 3D work for them. So learning like a corporate standard has been really challenging and also helpful in understanding more about these programs, because as like an independent artist, I was just doing honestly whatever I could. And if I couldn't solve something, I would make it solvable in like a silly way or like find a like rail around it. But they have such serious standards that I've had been pushed. So that's cool.
What is that exchange like? Like, how was your transition going from someone who's just like making things for yourself to, I'm sure you're in like many meetings, many hours of meetings, translating someone else's vision into what your product will be?
Yeah. It's, to me, I try to take it as like a learning exercise every time. Like try to like think of it as me gaining a new skill instead of spending so much time solving someone else's problem. I'm like, I'm learning something new. Now that I like am at home all the time, yeah. Because I like was commuting 2 hours a day and I was tired, and so like my commute was like 45 minutes to an hour. So now I just have so much more time.
Yeah, totally.
I've been working on a lot of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, what are you working on in the core?
I'm making a new video right now, and it has like a similar beginning to Tunnel of Love. It's like about portals and stuff like that. And I am like building my first character from scratch. So that's been challenging, but I'm like forcing myself to do it.
Cool.
And then I'm making like Instagram filters and stuff like that for fun.
I'm really interested in those right now. What is your like feeling about just like how vanity interacts with augmented reality? Like, what is your take on that?
It's like the most successful way for people to see your work.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, it's in a way you're like everyone just wants to take a selfie, so why not like push yourself into that?
Yeah.
Like I like that everyone gets to make their own variation of it. I think that's the most fun part, is to see like the millions of little, or not millions, but like everyone's little like picture. It's just every time it's like satisfying to come back.
Totally. What was your reaction the first time you saw your filter used by someone that you didn't know?
Oh, I was shocked. I was like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
I was shocked. But yeah, the network of where that weird little filter like had to go to get to these other people is really funny.
What program are you using to make the filters in?
Instagram has like its own program called Spark AR. It's
Okay.
actually really easy. There's lots of tutorials and like downloadable things that you can modify.
No, do you think that that's a good entry point for people to jump into like new media creation?
Yeah, I think it's maybe the best one right now because there's so many resources for it, and like the response back is so fast because everybody wants to interact with it.
Yeah.
So you can be like, I made this, and everyone's like,
I think that like your filter with the pearl is the most clear example of like you inserting yourself into someone else's picture, even though it's two pictures of them. It like reads so clearly as something that you made, and I think that that's really cool.
I love that. Like I love when I would make stuff at school, I would leave it on the public computers, like, and people would be like, yeah, I know that's Sarah, and I'm like, they're like, oh, Sarah definitely did that, and I'm like,
You're like walking around flipping, you're like purple hair, being like,
well, one time somebody was like on a different computer, and they're like, who downloaded a model of a fidget spinner? Like that's so stupid. Like complaining about it. I was like, yeah, that was literally me. Like I was like, like people complaining about the things I downloaded.
What did you use the model of the fidget spinner for?
I have used it probably 40 times. Like I put it everywhere. My number one thing that I use, like the first 3D model I made is of this little coin bank or it's like a coin bank, but it's like an animatronic face. So it moves and eats your coins, and it's so creepy but cute. And it was like really popular on the internet for like 5 minutes. Everyone was like, creeped out by it. And I made it and I use it. I have to sneak it in everywhere in every video I make.
There is an Easter egg in all of your works.
Yeah, it's not like hidden, but I like have to get it in because I'm obsessed with it. I actually have. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I really want to see it.
Okay. Where is it? I think I had 3 at one point.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm like obsessed with this thing. It's like the epitome of all things I love. It's like a lost trend, and it's like creepy AI, and it's pink, and it doesn't work anymore. Look how scary it is. It's just such a perfect object.
It is
to me.
A perfect object. You also think that basketballs are perfect objects, no?
I love basketballs. Basketballs are in most things too. Like I just have to one in.
Sure. Why basketball?
I just actually like them completely as an object. I think they're really satisfying to look at. I have no interest in the game. Like, oh, I would go to a game, but that's not my plan. Like, people ask me, they're like, well, that's actually, I made this Unity piece where it's real-time AI, like really low-level AI, and like basketballs travel around in a herd. So they're like free from the game, but they still desired like the hoop experience. So they're like traveling through the wilderness looking for a hoop to jump through.
Is there any hoops in the actual game?
Yeah, they're like placed randomly, and then they throw the leader in, and then like it misses sometimes. But when I was making that, someone asked me about it. They were like, oh, like who's your favorite basketball player? And I was like, the ball. And they were like, shut up. So that's the name of the piece. It's my favorite player is the ball.
That's really, really great.
So evil. He can't be here. No, I have a lot of really weird objects in my room.
Like, your room looks pretty simple.
Oh, you're kind of missing a lot of the action. I angled you to be a lot. Like, there's this whole thing is a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit. It seems to be really, like, creepy but cute things. Mm-hmm. Or, like, cute things.
Yeah, I think I, like, got all of the like super literal versions of that out of my system, and now I want it to be a little more like nuanced.
Yeah, sure.
But, like this guy, he's perfect. That's why it's perfect. It's the only perfect thing.
Are you interested in like the grotesque as like a concept whenever you're working in like an augmented reality?
Yeah, I think it's almost like grotesque in the sense of like gluttony, like too many things, too many colors, too much like shiny pattern, like it's gross in that sense, where there's no like sensibility to it in like technical terms.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Like the gluttony of consumerism, but the beauty of living around objects.
Mm-hmm.
Love our objects.
Yeah.
What is your vibe on the gamer girl cliche?
I think like I think it's cool, like, and when people like mock like girls for not having like skills or anything, but like they're the ones profiting off of this whole like spiel, like that, I don't know, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I really like the like aesthetics of gamer girl, even though like maybe it's not me, but I can like look at it and enjoy it.
Sure.
I have a rainbow light up keyboard.
No, you don't.
You know that? Yeah, I really do. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah, you really do. Thank you so much for talking with me. I hope the rest of your quarantine is fun.
Yeah, you too. I hope I get to see you in August.